Today I'm out here in the garage. I'm going to degree the camshafts on this 4.6 dual overhead cam. This is a Cobra engine. So what is degreeing camshaft? This video is going to be about just kind of an overview of degreeing camshaft and some tips on degreeing camshaft. I've already made a pretty in-depth video on degreeing camshafts on a dual overhead cam 4.6. I'll put the link up here if you want to take a look at that. For this, I'm just going to kind of go over some tips as I do it. But first of all, what is degreeing a cam? And degreeing a camshaft is fine-tuning the timing of the camshaft to the crankshaft. You can align all your timing marks, and that's great. That's how you set the timing on the engine. But to fine-tune the camshaft timing with the crankshaft, you need to degree the camshaft. And that can be really more important if you've machined your cylinder heads or if you've machined your block or both, because that essentially moves the camshafts lower in relation to the crankshaft, which is going to mess around with the timing of the camshaft. So to dial it in, you need to degree your camshafts. A question I commonly get is, do I need to degree my camshafts? And that depends on how much risk you're willing to take and will it be okay. It's hard to say. It probably will be okay. These dual overhead cam ones, it's probably more important because you got two separate camshafts. You got an exhaust cam and you got an intake cam, and those need to be degreed together so they can be optimized for the performance of this engine. So I would say with aftermarket camshafts, I highly recommend it. With factory camshafts, you don't necessarily need to. So let's say you decide to degree your camshafts, and what do you need? You need, to start off with, you gotta get your degree wheel in time with your piston, your number one piston. So you need a piston stop so that you can set your wheel to be accurate with where your piston is located at inside the cylinder. I use a little clamp on here so that when I go to take this chain off to grind on these sprockets, it's quicker than pulling this tensioner off every time. And then you're going to need some kind of magnetic base dial indicator so that you can get the reading of the lift of the camshaft. And so once you get all your tools set up and everything, you're going to find out where that camshaft is at maximum lift in relation to where the piston is at. And then you're going to degree that. You're either going to advance or retard that camshaft to put it at the degree that the manufacturer states. So the first thing that you've got to do is you have to get your top dead center accurately showing on your wheel. If that is not accurate, then everything's going to be off. So it starts with that. All right, once we got our tools all set up, we're ready to take a reading here. We start with the number 6 exhaust because the number 6 is the companion to number 1. But we want to get this side first before we move over to that side. And we want to start with the exhaust because any movement that we make with this can have an effect on the intake. So we start with the exhaust, then go to the intake, and then go to the exhaust for number 1 and the intake for number 1. So I have my dial indicator on here. I have it zeroed out. I'll double check it. We're going to take 2 readings on there. Okay, we got 155 and 77 equals 232. We divide that by 2, which is 116. And comp wants a 118 center line on the exhaust. So we need to advance that camshaft 2 degrees. Okay, so one of the first tips I'll show you is you can get a little bit, since we're only 2 degrees off, we may be able to get 2 degrees just by the play in the sprocket to the camshaft. Usually when I put these on there, I put them on at full retard, just so I know that I'm starting from full retard. So if I need to advance it, now I know that I can at least try and get some advancement out of it. And I'll show you how that works. Let me see if I can do it without. First, you're going to take this off. All right, so I'm going to take this ARP fastener out of here. Hopefully this sprocket doesn't go flying off of here when I move it around. So you can get a little bit of play, and I'm going to get this camshaft up on its lobe so that hopefully you can see it in the video kind of flop back and forth. There's not a lot of play in this one. Okay, there's not a lot of play in it. probably going to be too hard to see on the video, but I put it to where it's got the load on it, pushing the camshaft forward. I can feel that it's got a little bit of play in there, but I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to be. So let me put this back on and then take another reading and see. So this time I got 156.5 and 78, which equals 234 divided by 2 is 117.25 on a 118 center line. That's pretty close. What I might do is I'm going to check the intake, and with the intake, if I have to take it apart to degree it, then I might file a little bit on the sprocket just to bring that up to 118. So I was able to get a little over a degree out of it just by shifting that tension from either full retard or full advance on the camshaft. So there is a little bit of play in there. You can get a degree or two without pulling it off. So now I'm gonna switch everything over to the intake and see what we got on the intake side. All right, I moved it over to my intake side, and I got 79.5 and 153, which equals 232 divided by 2 equals 116 on a 114 center line. So I'm going to need to pull that sprocket and do some grinding on it. And while I'm at it, I'll do a little bit of grinding on the primary sprocket as well. Okay, another tip, it can be confusing to figure out which way you need to grind on the key of the sprocket to get the cam to advance or retard. So what I like to do is one, get it off the lobe so there's no tension on it, and then just kind of visualize what the camshaft needs to do. I need the camshaft to advance just a little bit on the primary, so I put a little mark there, and I need the secondary to advance a little bit more, so I put a mark on the side so that I know what side to grind on when I take these things off. I know which side to grind on that key. So now I'm going to pull these sprockets off, grind a little bit. All right, I put a mark on the keyway here to kind of give me an idea of how much I need to grind off of there. Remember, you can't put the material back, so I'm going to grind just a little bit off of here. To do that, I'm going to use this rotary tool with a carbide bit. You can use different things. I might end up changing this thing, but just going to grind this down a little bit, and then I'll move on to the secondary and then put those back on there. Make sure you use iPro. Gloves probably wouldn't be a bad idea either, but well, let's see what happens. Okay, so I'd grind it a little bit off on this side of the key, and hopefully that'll be enough. You got to kind of, remember, you got to do the whole length of this thing because it fits in the keyway, so just take your time with it, and just, you can kind of get a visual on where the material's coming off of. But remember, you can't put it back on, so just take your time with it, and then make sure this is clean before you put it back on the engine. I'm over here on the other side of the shop because I don't like doing it by the engine because I don't want little metal flakes flying up everywhere. So I'm gonna go grab the secondary and see what I can do on that one. Yeah, I did some grinding on the gears, on the keys. It didn't take very much off because this was only one degree. I think that one was 2 degrees. Didn't need that much. But now when I put these bolts back on here, I put my ARP lube on there just in case it's correct. That way I don't have to take them back off and retighten them. So I got both of these lubed up. I'm going to put them in because I'm a positive thinker, and I'm hoping that the amount of grinding I did was perfect. I'm not going to tighten them all the way yet because I need to try to advance the camshaft before I tighten them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wrench and kind of put some tension on the camshaft while I hit these with the impact, and hopefully that will keep the camshaft forward. I've also used the spring load to do it, so we'll see how this works out. Okay, my cam's tight again. I'm about to take another reading here. Okay, this time I got 76 plus 151 is 227 divided by 2. 113.5 on a 114 center line. That's within a half a degree. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and move back over to the exhaust side and see where that one ended up. Okay, now I moved it back over to my exhaust side. I'm gonna get a reading now. All right, on this side I got 157.5 and 77.5, which equal 235 divided by 2. 117.5 on a 118 center line. So I'm going to say the exhaust is good and the intake are good because they're both within about a half a degree of each other. I'm going to go ahead and torque down these ARP bolts to 90 foot-pounds and be done with this side. Okay, now I moved over to the passenger side. I got everything set up, zeroed out. I'm going to take a reading here. Okay, so I got 156.5 and 76.5, which is 233 divided by 2, or 116.5. So this is full retard, so we should be able to get some adjustability out of that just by putting the tension forward on it. See if we can get advanced at a degree or so. Okay, so I brought the cam lobe around so that the spring tension would be pushing to advance the camshaft. I loosened that up and then tightened it and retook measurements, and I got 158 and 78, which is 236 divided by 2 is exactly 118. So just by that advancing that just a little bit in the play, put us exactly where we need to be. Now, how awesome would it be if the intake exhaust was perfect and I didn't have to do any kind of grinding on it? Let's see. So now I'm going to check the intake side on the passenger. My first reading, I got 78 and 152. 230 divided by 2 equals 115. So we need a 114 center line. Okay, so we were at 115. We need to go 114, which means that I need to advance the cam. So remember, I set them at full retard when I tightened them down to get the first reading. So I have the lobe over the top of the valve spring, so that's pushing the camshaft forward. I'm going to loosen this up and then retighten it, and hopefully that cam will move, take up the slack on the advanced side, and hopefully that'll give us the 1 degree that we need. All right, now that I got everything zeroed out, I've hopefully advanced it at least 1 degree. I'm gonna get a reading, see where we're at here. Okay, so I got 77 and 151, which gives us 228 divided by 2 is 114. Wow, that's pretty good luck. I didn't have to do any grinding on this side. They're just full advanced with the slack in the keyway. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the positive pressure of the spring, and then I'm going to torque this down to 90, and then I'm going to use a wrench to take up the slack on this side as I torque that to 90. Basically, I'm going to torque this down, also torque down the tensioners. So one of the last things I like to do once I've got everything degreed is make sure everything's torqued. Before I pull these pins, I want to make sure that all my dots are still lined up. I've actually had a customer bring a car over that the complete passenger side was low on compression, and they had the timing 180 out. So I think people can do that when they start setting timing or when they start degreeing cams and they lose track of one side compared to the other. So before you call it done and you pull these pins on the timing tensioners, do one last check and double check all of your dots and make sure your dots are in the correct order for the timing. Once that's done, you can pull your pins and your timing is all set. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, see more content on Mustangs, Mustang engines, and make sure to ring that notification bell.